Greg Palast, the investigative journalist, the author of How Trump Stole 2020. GregPalast.com is his website. You can tweet him at Greg_Palast, P-A-L-A-S-T. And Greg, this is just an amazing story you are pushing out here about this guy who's Chevron. Tell us about it.
Okay, Steve Donziger is under house arrest. He is the attorney who won a $9.5 billion against Chevron Corporation in Ecuador for poisoning the people of the Amazon. I was down there reporting for I was doing my own BBC television, and I met with, for example, the chief of the COFAN. His son had gone swimming in a 5-year-old son went swimming in a pool that was shiny with, it was just shiny in the jungle, the rainforest, and he said, and he came up vomiting blood and dropped dead in his father's arms. So the chief, I went with him. He's wearing war paint from the chest up, from the waist up, and he files a lawsuit against Chevron for his son and the death of his other son who died of cancer. And they're laughing at him.
And hang on just a second. This is because that slick on the water that his son dove into was a petroleum dump by Chevron, right? That's
an illegal petroleum by Chevron's Texaco unit.
Right.
You can't do that stuff in the U.S. You can't just dump it's poison. It kills.
But this was the Bolivian forest, right?
Yeah, rainforest.
Yeah.
Up the Amazon. So I was up there in the Amazon with the chief, and he filed, and they're laughing at him. 4 years later, 2011, he wins 9 points because he got help. A lawyer named Steve Donziger. This is Barack Obama's Harvard Law School mate, who could have made it. Instead, he gave up everything, every penny job to work in the past decades to defend the indigenous people of the Amazon rainforest against Chevron company.
So why is this lawyer
$9.5 billion?
Why is this lawyer in home detention? Why is he under arrest?
Yeah, I'm on October 8th. He will be so-called contempt of court because Chevron ran around finding, looking for a judge, and they found a right-wing named Lewis Kaplan, who demanded that Donziger turn over his cell phones and computers so they could identify which people were going after Chevron and insiders in the corporation giving away their secrets, which could be a death sentence for these people. Steve refused. That's just a civil question. And because he appealed the decision that he should turn over his cell phones and computers, he was sentenced without trial, years of home detention, and now he's facing a prison term. But here's the problem. Federal prosecutors told the judge to go fly it. This is ridiculous. You can't charge a lawyer with put a lawyer behind bars because he won't turn over his personal documents.
And he's protecting a whistleblower, essentially.
And he's protecting its client confidentiality, et cetera. So there's him off. You know what the judge did? For the first time in U.S. history, he appointed Chevron's law firm to act as the prosecution in a trial against Steve Donziger. Donziger asked for a jury because, hey, have you read the Constitution? You get a jury trial? And the criminal judge said, no, you can't have a jury, and I'm going to bar you from making a public defense. And he said, you're guilty, and you're going to jail.
What jurisdiction is this happening in? Who's this judge?
It's Lewis Kaplan ordered this, and then he picked another judge with him who's Federalist Society, the Coke operation that pumps out these ultra-right judges.
Yeah, they brought
like
us...
I say, the feds, even Trump's Justice Department would not prosecute Donziger for the indigenous. But so they literally used
Is this a state court or a federal court?
Federal court.
In which state?
So what happened is, Southern District. So what's happened is that you have Chevron's own lawyers acting execution. This has never been done in American history, where you have a corporate prosecution, criminal charge of an individual citizen, and of course denied a jury trial. It's insane. You have 60 Nobel Prize, Senator Mark and a whole bunch of Congress people screaming about this. Every human rights group like Human Rights Watch, Amazon Watch, etc., who are screaming about this corporate prosecution of this human rights lawyers and his whistleblowers. I mean, it is. And meanwhile, by the way, Chevron has refused to pay the $9 billion. And, you know, I have to tell you, I also went after journalists, including a guy named Greg Palast. They tried to get me fired from BBC. They fired a formal complaint. I had a one-year court hearing myself. I saved my job. They can't stand Steve Donziger. This
so
going up against
what is being done about this, Greg? I understand that you and a bunch of other people are trying to highlight this, and and so am I. It's why you're on this program right now. But is there anything that can be done?
Yes, today, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, and in 15 cities around from San Francisco to Los Angeles. I'll be in Los Angeles. Go to gregpalast.com for the information. Tel Aviv, and also in Quito, Ecuador, protesting this impending imprisonment of Steve Donziger. He's already under house arrest for 2 years. This is ridiculous.
Is there anybody that this can be I mean, you know, the Biden administration, the Department of Justice, members of Congress, is there anybody who could be petitioned or called or contacted about this?
Yes, I think now that we have time for the Justice Department to step in and say two things. Number one, no more corporate appointed to prosecute individuals that they don't like. This has never happened in America.
They just lost $9.5 billion too. Yes.
Yeah, and two, free Steve Donziger. He's a great human rights lawyer. What is he doing under arrest? And three, Chevron, pay the money you owe to the people you killed. It's that simple. And I got to tell you, one of the reasons they went after me is because I went on BBC television and showed a document where the president of Chevron personally ordered the removal of all documents and their destruction that showed that the company had dumped oil illegally. I have the documentation, and that's why they wanted to pull me off the air.
Wow. Wow. Okay,
so let's get Biden. Let's put a little pressure on Biden and the Justice Department, Merrick Garland, to say no more corporate prosecutions.
Yeah, I'm with you. So you can find out all about it over at Greg Palast, GregPalast.com, and you can tweet Greg and follow the whole thing on Twitter, Greg_Palast. If you're not following him, you should. Greg, thank you. Thank you for dropping by today and keeping us up to date on this.
You're the best, Tom. Thank you.
You too.